Hey everybody, I have a beard now. Anyways, I'm with my good friend Alejandro Ibarra. You might not be able to hear us because the music's kind of loud. Oh, my bad, sorry. Anyways, so I haven't made a video in a while, so I thought I'd do this for fun. Ali and I decided, well, I did, and he just like was a good friend to me, and
I wanted to join him.
We decided to watch the Twilight Saga. I'd never seen them. I think I saw the first one like a few years ago, but I didn't really remember anything about it, and there's a reason for that. But I decided to watch these, and they're. I don't even know what to say.
I mean, I don't know. They're kind of lame in my opinion, but like they were interesting to watch, I guess. I mean, I'm trying to think because what hasn't been said about Twilight at this point.
It is kind of hard to try and come up with a new angle.
Yeah.
I will say we're gonna go movie by movie. The first one, when I was watching it, I realized the reason I don't remember anything about it is because nothing fucking happens in this movie. Literally nothing. It's like so. Nothing happens. They meet and they fall in love, and then at the end, the climax happens.
Yeah, which I guess is like the whole appeal. I guess it's meant to be like
product placement.
Not it's meant to be like a self-insert, and it's like, oh, you know, you have this like weird vampire dude who's really hot fall for you. It's like, okay, that's fair, but I feel like nothing really happens. But
what do
I know?
I don't understand why Edward and Bella like each other.
My thing is, I don't know. I think, I just think Edward's a creep, but like, like even Robert Pattinson knows that. So
yeah, the credits are rolling right now on the last one.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I would say it was like an interesting experience watching all of them. Like, I don't regret it.
I don't regret it either. I think this series was probably better than the 50 Shades trilogy, but I'll say this. At least in the 50 Shades trilogy, I knew why the two liked each other. Mm-hmm. They actually had reasons. They weren't good reasons, but at least they had reasons. Here, Bella is the most boring, fucking lame main character ever. I understand that they made her that way because you're supposed to, like, you know, it's like a self-insert.
Yeah.
You can imagine yourself, because she's so bland, you can imagine yourself in the role of that character. But it doesn't make it interesting to watch.
Yeah, I would say
it's probably better to read.
Yeah, it was interesting watching it as like Twilight was the thing like everyone shit on in the 2010s. So I mean, it was cool to see that.
These movies are so like a product of their time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they're so like early 2010s. Like I could just like watching it. I just had flashbacks to like 2011. It's like, okay, PewDiePie, the Fine Bros. Fucking Ryan Higa, Smosh. I expected Friday by Rebecca Black to start playing at some point.
I mean, I think that added to it being fun, though.
The second one was fucking awesome.
It did have like the coolest shot ever, I will say.
Oh, when she's after Edward breaks up with her.
Right, I think that part was what I was most interested. I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? And then
that was cinema. That was art.
And they just kind of fuck around for the whole movie, which is kind of what happens in all of them. But
it was just like that was the best one, but that's the one. It doesn't introduce him because he's in the first one,
right?
But that's the one where Jacob enters the series as a main character.
Yep.
Jacob, I think he might be the worst character I've seen in a movie ever.
He's pretty bad, Jesus, especially in the movies after. Like I think in this one, like you kind of understand a little better, but in 3, 4, and 5, Jesus,
he is insufferable. He's whiny. He's obsessed with Bella. He's kind of rapey, actually. He's constantly like forcing himself on her and like trying to gaslight her. Like, no, Bella, you do love me. You just can't admit it to yourself, but you do. You really do. You just gotta look deep into like. Why does? And I don't understand why Bella keeps this guy in his life. Any sane, rational, reasonable woman, any person would look at someone like this and be like, get the fuck away from me or I'm going to call the authorities. Yeah. You're a fucking weirdo and you need to learn to stop being a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? And The writing is shit.
Yeah.
But New Moon was fucking awesome. I loved how Edward showed up as like hallucinations and shit.
Yeah.
It was funny as fuck. That was my favorite one, easily.
I agree with that. That one was the one I enjoyed the most. And then there was, what's the third one? It was Eclipse.
That one was fucking awful.
I gotta agree. Nothing really happened.
A lot of stuff happened, but it was fucking lame.
Edward and Jacob, they should make out, honestly. I feel like that would...
They have more chemistry than either of them do with Bella.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying during the whole thing.
Eclipse is about this one vampire who's like going around killing people, and then at the end the werewolves and the vampires fight. And you think that'd be cool, but it's fucking not. Yeah. And the action is directed so fucking horribly. Like, what the fuck? And...
Yeah, that's how I feel about all of it. It's like the coolest shit ever, but they managed to make it boring.
There's a scene in a tent. It is the most uncomfortable scene ever. Bella is like freezing to death, and Jacob says, "You know what would help?" And he takes his shirt off, and he like covers her, and she just has to sleep like that while Edward watches. They might as well have just had like a cuck chair that they do in the hotels, and Edward was sitting there, and then Bella's asleep, and Edward and Jacob are just having a conversation, and Jacob's like, "You know, if you weren't a vampire, maybe we could be friends." What the fuck? This is awful. And you look at Jacob and you're like, dude, why are you so obsessed with this one girl? I get that you like her, but like, fucking, it takes him like 3 movies before he gets it through his head. She doesn't like you. She doesn't want you. Get over it. I'm sorry, I don't like Jacob.
No, I don't like him either. I think he's a weirdo.
Anybody who's Team Jacob, like, what the fuck?
I don't really get it myself.
I mean, neither of them are good, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick Edward.
Yeah. My thing is, like, I think there's definitely, like, a reason they explain it, but why are they in high school?
I probably missed that.
Yeah,
there probably is a reason.
Yeah.
They established that, like, every time they, like, a new vampire, like, joins them, they switch locations.
Right.
But it's like, so do you just go around high schools looking for someone to, like, turn into a vampire? That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure they explained this, but whatever. And then the fourth one was... So we watched these last two, Breaking Dawn 1 2 back to back. This one was maybe the worst one. Like, the first half is the wedding, and then the second half, Bella's pregnant, and the second half is just you're watching Bella just like just be miserable and like have the worst pregnancy of all time, and it's just fucking boring. Nothing happens. You could just feel the padding.
Yeah, I do like Charlie in all these movies. You know, he's
Charlie's great.
Yeah, he's a good character in all these.
Yeah. I love the part where Jacob took off all of his clothes in front of him.
We'll get to that. With that's the last one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which.
Oh my God, we'll get to that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of this one, Renesmee, like, first off, like the baby like claws out of her uterus, and I was just like, ew, what the fuck? Who the fuck wants to see this? I'm back. What were we talking about?
Breaking Dawn 1.
Yeah. So in Breaking Dawn 1. They get married, and then Bella gets pregnant, and then it sucks or whatever. And then, fucking, there's a scene. So after the baby is born, by the way, the baby's name is Renesmee.
Yeah.
Fucking Renesmee. Anyways, Jacob, he walks towards the baby, and then he sees her like grow up, and I think falls in love with her. They call it imprinting. And then he falls to his knees, and immediately after this, he's over Bella. So I mean, that kind of tells you everything.
I hate that.
He spent 3 movies fucking crying over Bella, begging Bella to love him. But as soon as he sees the baby, he's like, "Oh, I'm over it. I've moved on."
It's disgusting.
It's actually like it was enough for me to give the movie half a star on Letterboxd. It was like a 1.5 or like 2 until then, but that shit's enough. I can't believe, as a writer, you would put that in your movie or in your book. I don't know if it's in the book or not. I would assume so.
Yeah.
Whoever did it, I can't imagine putting that in your story and thinking like, yeah, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
So then we get to the last one, Breaking Dawn 2. This one, most of it isn't that bad. It actually starts out kind of okay, like with Bella being a vampire, because you've been waiting 5 movies for this, right? And it's like, it finally happened, and you're like, okay, cool. And then... we get to the ending. Do you want to explain it, or do you?
I I mean, I don't know. I think your take on it, like, if Endgame did that.
Okay.
Because it kind of was this franchise's version of Endgame, and I was like, oh shit, okay, stuff's happening.
So the Volturi is built up in this series to be a group of horrible, evil people. I mean, they're vampires. There's a scene, I think it's in the second one, where a group of tourists are led into the Volturi's, like throne room, and then they eat them. And it's like this really brutal, horrible scene. You hear screaming. You see that there's children in the line.
Right.
It makes you hate the Volturi. It makes you think, like, these people are awful. If nothing else, I hate this series. It's awful. But I am rooting for the main characters, who I hate, to kill these other people because they're bad people. They're awful. I hate them. You know, they're fucking evil as hell. So we get to the final battle, right? They spend the whole movie recruiting for this final battle. The whole movie, they spend finding vampires from all over the world to fight in this battle, which makes it even more stupid. Like, they spend the whole movie recruiting vampires, right, to fight this battle, and we get to the battle. They're all in the snow. It's epic. They got the Volturi on one side, all the main characters on the other. It's like fucking Deathly Hallows 2. It's like fucking Avengers Endgame when you had the good guys on one side, the bad guys on the other side. You're like, okay, you know what? This series had a lot of issues. In fact, I kind of hate it, but we can bring it all home. We can end this in a satisfying way. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. I thought it was a cool ending until.
Well, yeah, I was enjoying the scene. I was like, it's not the best action scene. It's kind of bad, but it's entertaining. I was actually kind of getting into it.
Oh shit! You know, this is crazy. This is like the end game of the series.
And characters were dying.
Right.
It's like people always complain about Deathly Hallows 2. They're always like, "Oh my god!" Like characters die, but they're not given any emotional weight because they're just like in the background and shit. Right. This movie actually gives these character deaths like weight to them. Like when characters died, don't get me wrong, I didn't really give a shit, but I was at least like, oh wow, I admire this movie for having the balls to kill off some characters. We've been following these characters for 5 movies. I admire these movies. I admire this movie for having the balls to kill off characters. You know, I really do.
Yeah.
Also, another thing is a lot of the vampires have like really cool powers. Like one of them's like a firebender, but the ones we followed for 5 movies don't have any cool powers. They're just lame. Anyways, so the final battle's going on, and they kill the main villain, and we're like, wow, this is crazy. This series kind of sucks, but this is cool. This is a satisfying conclusion. And then, none of it happened. Alice just went up to the main guy, put her hand on his shoulder, and said, if you fight us, that's what's gonna happen. And the guy's like, yeah, I guess. All right, we're leaving. And they just take off.
Yeah.
That's how you end the main conflict of this 5-movie saga? This is 5 movies. This ain't a trilogy, man. 5 movies.
I mean, they were chill about it, you know. It was
Could you imagine if at the end of Avengers Endgame, fucking like Scarlet Witch went up to Thanos and made him like imagine him losing the battle and Tony Stark dying and everything, and then it just cut to after, and they're like, Thanos, if you fight us, that's what's gonna happen. But you know what? If you don't mess with us, it's fine. You can go free. And Thanos is like, okay.
Yeah, like it's really just like I guess it doesn't affect us anymore kind of solution.
The main characters are awful.
Yeah.
The main characters are fucking awful. How are you supposed to rewatch this series if you're like a fan? Like, so much of this series was built up around like them fighting the Volturi, but none of it mattered.
Yeah.
Like all those scenes of them like
they really just needed Alice.
Yeah, pretty much. Alice saved the day. The series might as well have ended with Alice going up to them being like, eat a Snickers, and they eat it and they're like, yeah, I was being kind of a dick, and then they walk away. Alice ended the whole conversation. Alice could have ended like every problem in every movie ever. So
it was pretty funny. It was kind of unbelievable. It was like, really, this is how they're ending.
This is how they should have ended Harry Potter. They should have just called Alice, and she went up to Voldemort and like, hey, this is what's gonna happen if you fight Harry. Okay, I guess we'll just leave. Imagine if Harry Potter ended with the Death Eaters like still out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that'd be horrible. Like,
Ugh.
I don't understand what the logic. I don't know if that's how it ends in the book, but if it is, sometimes you should change things. You know what I mean? Sometimes changing things is okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure some Twilight fan will probably have like some kind of explanation for this, like, oh, it's actually about how war is pointless and fucking, you know, like all this is futile and we can just end our conflict civilly. That doesn't change the fact that the Volturi are just going to keep murdering innocent people for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Like, how is this a happy ending? How am I supposed to be satisfied with this? Could you imagine if World War II ended with America saying, you know what, you guys, you know what, Germany, as long as you don't mess with us, it's fine. We don't care. Like, what the fuck? Could you imagine if the Avengers told Thanos, you know what, man, if you stop messing with us, you can keep doing whatever you want?
I mean, with the World War II thing, is kind of how America was until... Actually,
Kinda.
You're exactly right with that.
Yeah.
But it really was like they didn't care until they were messed with.
Yeah, actually, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't the best comparison. But I'm just saying, like...
No, I
just
get,
imagine
I get what you mean.
You know, people talk shit about the Game of Thrones ending, but at least that shit happened. At least that shit went through with it.
No.
At least they had the balls to actually go through with what they, intended.
I agree. No.
Just a terrible ending. I didn't think I'd be this mad because I don't give a shit about this franchise, but that ending pissed me off. I was like, that's how you ended this movie.
I think I'm like too indifferent to really be upset. Like,
I thought I was indifferent too until that shit happened, and I was like, there's no way they're gonna end it like this. There's no way. And they did!
It's pretty ridiculous, but oh well.
I can't believe this. This is like, I'm surprised I haven't seen this on like any like top 10 worst movie endings lists. Mm-hmm. And then the movie ends with like an emotional montage of their relationship, just like in 50 Shades.
Yeah.
With a song that I actually like I died every day without whatever. And then it ends with that emotional montage of like all the cast throughout the movies, and then it's like, and you know what? Endgame kind of ripped off Twilight. Now that I think about it, it's the same end credits.
We're saying like this pulled an Endgame, but really it's the other way around.
Pretty much, Endgame ripped off Breaking Dawn Part 2.
That's true.
Because at the end credits they show like all the side characters first, and then they have the main characters at the end, and then you're supposed to cry.
You're right.
So like, yeah. So props to you, Twilight. If you want to get technical about it, Star Trek 6 did that first because they had like the signatures at the end.
I mean, it's still a cool idea. That's kind of how I feel about a lot of these movies. They're still cool ideas, even if they're like not too interesting to watch. But well. I mean, I get the appeal. You know, they're not really for me, but
I get the appeal too. If there was a book out there about like some 15-year-old kid who's like a loser, and then all of a sudden this really hot vampire girl and this really hot werewolf guy started like fighting over the kid, and like me in high school, like I was supposed to, insert myself into that scenario. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't blame anybody for liking these movies. They are what they are. I don't blame anybody for liking 50 Shades.
Yeah, no. Fully valid.
Everything has an audience.
I think it's just like, it didn't really appeal to us sort of situation, because it didn't.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to with the whole werewolves and vampires war.
I don't know.
But even that shit is unsatisfying in the end.
Oh, jeez.
I think I like this better than the 50 Shades trilogy. He hasn't seen it, but the 50 Shades trilogy is really boring. There's some funny parts, but for the most part, it's just fucking boring. The second one is the best one because at least like things happen in that one. The first one and the third one especially, they're kind of unwatchable. None of these movies I would say were unwatchable, but like they're either the first two were funny. The third one I thought was just like kind of boring, and the fourth and fifth one were just like on like a whole other level of like shittiness. Like I thought the fourth one and fifth one, don't get me wrong, the first three are bad, but the fourth one and fifth one were like a significant like, whoa, we went from like bad, we went from like a 4 out of 10 to like a 1. So yeah, that's the Twilight Saga.
Yeah, still a fun watch.
Any final thoughts?
I mean, watch these with someone if you're like interested. If you're probably not going to be into them, then watch them with someone.
Yeah, I would never have watched this shit by myself.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Twilight Saga. I wanted to get this video out because I hadn't made a video in a while. So, Twilight.
Yeah, Twilight.
You named my daughter after the fucking Loch Ness Monster?